let me share with my personal TED story, which is called Spice Up Your Life. We shouldn't deceive ourselves with fear. Every day we have transformations. Our views, perceptions change, and the world changes itself. It happens that today we can be on the top, strong, brave, and successful. We feel confident, we are not afraid of anything, and our self-esteem is high. But tomorrow something happens that throws us off a track. An event in any area of life. And after that, firstly, the faith in yourself falters. Our self-esteem falls. And a fear is born. Fear that you no longer have the strength to move forward and stay high. Fear is a feeling or emotion that comes from a person's sense of danger. But what if I told you that fear is just a spice? The spice that we can savor our life, or we cannot use it at all, not notice and not feel its taste. More often, we give in to the taste of this spice out of the fear of failure or judgment. But if you step out of the comfort zone, take on new tasks, take new risks, you will see that you successfully cope with all these new challenges. And you begin to believe in yourself more. And you get used to life without the taste of this spice. It's like living without sugar. Have you ever tried not adding salt or sugar to your food, to discard flavor enhancers, and to feel the pure taste of the dishes with clear receptors? At first, it is difficult, but gradually you get used to, and you start to feel the pure taste of the food, and you get used to life without the taste of this spice. What if I told you that there are no missed opportunities and failed projects? There are choices that we make, and they are always be for yourself and always right. When you are afraid of something, just move your legs one by one. Step forward, step one more move. And do not think about everything. Do not be afraid of anything. Just go ahead, go to your fears, and you will find yourself where you want. We are who we choose to be, and we are not obliged to reveal our pain and to show our fear to anybody. Well, my story dates back to my childhood, as maybe for everyone who is here. I was 4 years old. I learned to sew and could easily handle with thread and needle and fabric trimmings. In the Soviet Union times, everything was in short supply, especially parental attention and time. Nobody had taught me. Everything came out of the childish curiosity by trials and errors. I sought dresses, different set of clothes, bags, etc. for a fantasy doll, which I didn't have and which I could only dream of. Despite of the absence of the doll, I knew perfectly well all its figure parameters and shapes. I came up with models and implemented them. I had my own fashion house built by me. I dreamt of being a designer, sewing clothes that would conquer this world. I grew up telling my mom that I really wanted to be a designer, but I kept hearing that I couldn't draw, that she was scared to let me go to the university to another city, that there was no demand of such kind of profession and something like that. I was afraid to contradict her and insist on something. There were a lot of restrictions, lack of courage and emotional swings. They all left their prints and my hopes were dashed. Thus, I entered the pedagogical university on the faculty of foreign languages. And I graduated it just for show and started working in a completely different direction as an accountant in the long run. I was afraid to follow my dream. I gave up and I felt comfortable. But once in the store, I was picking out a dress for my mom. when suddenly she looked at this dress and asked me whether I remembered the dress that I had made for a doll in my childhood. It was just the same model. And this memory turned everything upside down and returned me to the seemingly no return point. The world wasn't tired to show me my place, and I was hiding behind restrictions and fear. And maybe it was time to take this place. And I ventured to gain knowledge firstly as a stylist and then as a fashion analyst. On this way, I evoked a lot of obstacles, prohibitions, and of course fears that it wouldn't work. I was studying to be a stylist in Moscow, and before the flight, I had got a head injury, fallen off a chair almost in a flat place. There was no time to go to the doctor. My coordination was broken and the plane was in 3 hours. And my head was very sore, but I decided not to give up. I flew and get what I wanted. I desired to be in the world of fashion and design in this environment so much that I couldn't stop. And a year later, I got into fashion analyst. I was fond of everything that we did and learned on this course. But when it came time to defend my final work, I had tasted this spice again. At that moment, I was overwhelmed with different emotions. The defense of my diploma went not smoothly, with a storm of emotions and discussions from the colleagues' side and from the teacher's side. And in that moment, I was overwhelmed with different feelings ranging from resentment to unconditional happiness. But I realized that I have no fear. My fashion world hadn't collapsed, it had survived at all costs. But this fashion story Do you hear me? Okay, sorry. This fashion story ended in a fall and a fractured head one more time. But thanks God, that's another story. Having immersed into my environment, into my dream, I realized how happy I was, happy to be where I should be. That all these restrictions, oppositions, fear of decision making, etc., were part of my real life. And the more I had, the more experience I got, and the harder and more diligent I went forward. I faced with my fear and I saw all its traces and shades. I gave it away and over me and inside me, and I fell at last free from chains. When something fails, it's a golden opportunity to think, can you look at it differently? So, I have looked, and when I started to learn and use this accumulated experience, I realized that fear has become my friend, my perfect catalyst for success, that spice that now I love and I'm used to. I stopped listening to all these advices, who always knew better than me what I should do and in which direction to move. I went to my fear in deep fear and through pain. And the more pain, head injuries, restrictions, and other constraints I had, the more free I had become. In conclusion, I dare say the following. We spent half of our lives looking back at the past, regretting that we have done anything this way and not otherwise, listening to anybody but not ourselves. We are lack of courage and we are stuck at this state for a long time, putting ourselves in chains and deceiving ourselves with fear. The truth is that through pain we grow, and there is no need to fear it. Every day you have a chance to act against all these odds, to spice up your life as you wish. If you are born without wings, do not prevent them from growing. Be whoever you want to be. Be where you want to be. because fear is just a spice. Thank you.